antenna. Cause gears. Come good and show them what you can do.
Just about to go hit up my second to last deload session for this week. It's an upper body session and I will show you what's involved, and then I'm going to talk through a little bit of the exercises, and then afterwards explain a little bit about deloads and why we do them. Right, so first up we had some dumbbell single arm rows, and yeah, as you can see, the emphasis on this was really back to basics, taking the form right back, trying to perfect the movement. The load was stripped right back. I think it was probably half of what we were at on week 4. So the whole idea for me, I think, with the deload is I want to really try and use it to reset form on pretty much all the movements. So because the loads as the week goes on get less, I really take that opportunity to work on the form and ingrain the form back in, because as the weeks go on through the training, you'll find that your form might slip a little bit just because of the intensity that is involved. So definitely use deloads for that reason. And I think bent over rows and dumbbell rows, probably one of those ones where form is not very good anyway with most people. People like to try and throw the weight up. If you can just try and arc it and use a bit of the actual lat to pull it, it's a lot better. It's going to be a bit more beneficial for you. So the second movement we had was a bench press, I believe. I'm trying to remember. Again, weight was stripped right back. I think we had 50 kilos on it, or 52 kilos, and it's just a case of really sort of stripping that back, using that time to reset the form. And on here I was trying to go right down, I was touching the chest, pause in, and then instantly back up, still trying to engage the chest as much as possible, but just trying to again use the fullest range possible and really try and open up the chest, reset the form. Going into the week after this, I wanted to try and reset things as much as possible. And I think the way that the deload and the way it's been working since I've been working with Steve is the beginning of the week is fairly intense still in terms of the load. So the load doesn't really change too much. And as the week goes on, we are finding that that's when we start to then bring in a bit more of a lesser load, and the reps will then halve as well. So this is a really good exercise movement to try and reset as well. Again, like taking the time to really engage the lats, pull in and pause at the bottom and get a nice stretch at the top. This one, even though the weight was probably less than half of what we were lifting, I could still really sort of feel it. And I think people would do well to try and strip back their form sometimes and really overemphasize the form, just to kind of reset where they are. I think in terms of deloading as well, it's such a good habit to get into, especially if you're progressively training. If you're just used to going in the gym, doing sort of similar exercises every time, and you're happy doing that, then feel free to carry on and enjoy doing it. If you enjoy the training, that's the main thing really. But however, if you're looking at trying to progress a little bit more, I feel that there is a big place for deloading in order to progress. Something that I probably didn't do too much in the past, because I've always had that mentality of wanting to sort of push hard every time, and it does feel strange, and I'm not going to lie, it still feels strange getting in the gym and lifting like this, but I have to remind myself the reasons why we do it. So the following week it just feels incredible. I'm currently in that week at the moment, and yeah, everything just feels nice and strong, and you realise why you deload then. The close grip bench press, again, another movement that people absolutely murder in the gyms, because their elbows will start to flare out, they instantly have too much load, and they start almost doing a weird hybrid bench press thing. So try and keep the elbows pinned in as much as possible, and really focus on contracting the triceps as you're squeezing up, but also on the way down. That's where the triceps are working. So again, use that to reset the form. So yeah, deloads, really important, I believe, especially if you're trying to train for strength. It's definitely strength training, but also hypertrophy. The hypertrophy, the ranges involved and the weights involved, as they progressively get harder, your body needs that time to recover. So huge, really important. And I think since implementing deloads, I've really seen some extra progression in terms of my physique, and also strength wise as well. And these, by the way, one of my favourite variations of bicep curls. Just absolutely love these. There's no sort of hiding them when you're doing them anyway. Yeah, really good movement. Spider curls with the dumbbells. Into single arm tricep pull downs. Again, another one so you can do just without a handle. This time I used the handle so I can get a little bit of a twist at the bottom. Just trying to exaggerate the longer head of the tricep. Again, trying to really just focus on form, pausing, squeezing, contracting. Again, light load because of the deload. But yeah, really enjoyable movement, because I think not a lot of your work, but you should have some unilateral movements within your training. Legs and arms can benefit a lot from that. So yeah, definitely try and have some parts of those in your training. Similar to using the cables here for lateral raises on the shoulders. Again, another movement that is absolutely butchered in gyms around the country. Guys who are doing this with dumbbells or with the cables, just yeah, completely trying to fly sometimes. You know, if you can get the arm up, lead with the elbow, try and pause at the top, contract, and then just control the way down. None of these full body kind of flying movements that you see. Really take the time over it. You don't need a lot of weight with these at all, but you'll see people trying to do it with ridiculous amounts of weight and dumbbells. So yeah, take your time over the movements and try and physically feel what you're supposed to be lifting. So yeah, in terms of the deloads, how you can structure them, you can. Some people will just strip volume back straight away, and they will just say half everything from the previous weeks. Some will look at the volume and the loads as well, and they will work those maybe like half of the loads you originally were doing in the fourth week when you're overreaching. Some like to use the loads from your first week of training. Others will use like half the reps that you carried out in the first week as well. There's loads of ways to work a deload at taper, but as long as you're promoting some kind of recovery and a reduction in the total overall volume, you'll get the benefits from it. But it's quite an individual thing, I believe, for deload. So you've got to try it out first, see how you feel, see how you respond. But believe me now that when I say, when you do a deload and you get halfway through and you think, oh my god, you'll just think, you'll be wishing for the next week. And when you get to the next week, then yeah, you'll understand why he went through the deload and the benefits that come with it. So put a deload into your training and reap the rewards from it.
Back, yeah.
Never mind. We're going to add more ornaments.
Yeah.
What can you do?
They specialise in chilies. So they sell all kinds of sauces and plants.
I'm going to buy some chilies. Chilies. Apache one, that sounds hot.
I saw that down here as well.
Pancakes.
Oh, yeah.
I just like it straight out of the jar. No messing.
That's lovely. Really good.
You guys into peanut butters?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've got
always.
we've got some lovely ones here. So we've got a mixed nut, we've got chocolate, and we've got a crunchy one. So try the crunchy one last because that's the hottest. So if you try these two first. So that's a nice peanut butter with chocolate. Peanut butter and jelly, as the Americans would call it.
Yeah. I love
It
that.
actually does work really well.
Really good.
Not for you. This is legendary Marcellos Pizza. Let's have a look. Or none of your Domino's rubbish. I think this is all fresh, isn't it? Fresh ingredients, fresh cheese, isn't it? Yeah. Bruschetta. Oh. Okay, then. All fresh. I don't think he was pleased that we woke him up though. Boss one for. Or yeah, boss's little one. Yeah, these pizzas are without doubt like fresh ingredients, all freshly made on the spot by an old like Italian pizzeria. It's great. Yeah, highly recommend if you're in the area.